It's a matter of time. That is the new patch 10.1.5 cinematic that is featuring a sleepy Nozdormu who's realized he's actually came sort of to the end of his life.
Sad.
Yes.
Exclamation mark.
Sad, but for a thousands of year old, looking dude who was, of course, voiced by Martin Sheen in the Cataclysm, he must use his face moisturizer well. I suppose that's the power of it being a visage form.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, they all do have unsettlingly soft and smooth faces.
That's a good point.
Look how smooth his face is.
Oh, jump scare, jump scares!
Old lady in the walls.
Yeah, indeed. See, that's exactly... Now, should I... No, okay. Oh, hang on, whoops. Oh god, what have I done? What have I done here? How do I fix this? Where's the keyboard? Cool. Technical difficulties. The technical difficulty is that I'm dumb. Anyway, yes.
Very good. Well, we can go through a little bit of this sort of frame by frame then.
Yes, because Dago's done a good ass job.
Yes. Right, this is the whole thing. He's always seen the hour of his death. Now it's getting close, though, and he's pretty much being freaked out by it. What do we see in the jump scares? Well, the first thing is Iridikron.
For like 4 frames or something.
Yep, so we get a small amount of Iridikron. Then, of course, Wormrest. Then...
It's Eisen from Bleach. I mean, Chronolo Deus.
Some old Zoomer.
Yeah, it's Chronolo Deus.
That's what he looks like. Those glasses are ridiculous.
I think they're fantastic.
Oh, I think it's fantastic, but like he looks like a Final Fantasy character design for some reason.
Because
I think it's just because
of the sharp face and the
over the
hair.
top.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I've realized. The way that you do an FF character design is you never have only one hair option. You always activate 3 at once.
Yeah.
So he's got that. Next thing we see is the end time. Now, how, Matt, pray tell, could this be relevant to current events?
Let's see. Will this cinematic actually tell us this if I scroll down a little bit further? What's that? That looks a little bit like Bun Sam if you look hard enough. But that's unrelated. Because it's actually an infinite dragon. Or at least some sort of a dragon. Who could this infinite dragon be?
Oh, I don't know.
In the context, I think it might be Murozond. And you know what happened to Murozond at the end time?
Dead.
5 players, 5 adventurers used the hourglass to reset time a few times to get Bloodlust back and all the girlies and killed the shit out of him. And then Martin Sheen had a death cry and that was it over.
Theory.
Yep.
This Nozdormu. He ain't Martin Sheen.
He's a different one?
Martin Sheen Murozond's a different guy.
Fantastic.
We've worked it out. So obviously in the new dungeon we do not kill Murozond. I suppose we technically have already done that. We set him loose here. Which will be interesting. See, the thing is actually, well, I don't know, I imagine.
You haven't done it. That's how it happens.
Yeah, no, that's not true. The things will go in motion, right? To be the start of that character.
No.
No?
No.
I've not. I've assumed that that's what the encrypted quest content is going to be.
Yes.
Ah, okay, good.
Yes. So,
that's what I was getting at.
Yeah. We don't know what, like, having done the dungeon on, PDR, there's a lot of things we can infer in terms of where the story's going, and some, like, there's definitely parts and I go, oh, that's actually really big and interesting, but it's only, like, it's not a big event, it's only, oh, there's some plot points, like, put in. The actual meat of what happens story-wise in 10.1.5, and you might notice this, we haven't talked about it. No one has talked about it. And that's because all of the big story stuff in 10.1.5 is encrypted until launch. So launch day, do the dungeon. It's a great dungeon. It's actually very hard, seemingly, at the minute with the current tuning, which is weird because it's early tuning. When I did it was fucking cakewalk. And now they've went, this is going to be really hard. We might have a video talking about that at some point. But ultimately, it's like, this is all of the questing, all of the big plot stuff, we don't know. And I fucking love it. I love it. I love that I'm going to have a patch day, and then patch day will happen, and I'll see it posted on WoWhead a day early before I can do it because we live in EU, and NA get the game a day early. And usually that's fine because NA are the bug fixers and the QA testers for us. But in this case, all of it'll just be spoiled immediately on fucking frame 1. So yeah, enjoy that. North American players, you lucky fuck. Anyway, yes.
So
but yeah, actually, it's a good thing. Really good thing.
After a bunch of musing,
Yes.
we get more sort of glimpses in, and it is Chrono Lord Deus making a deal with Iridikron, meaning that the Infinite Dragons are working towards some sort. I see this. This is where it can all get very time bendy.
Yes. And that's going to be hard to deal with.
Chrono Lord Deus couldn't have made this. See, the problem is this is just getting us into some Tenant-like shit where it's like, yes, the protagonist in fact recruited himself. Time. When did the Infinite start?
They started, well, before this, because the Infinite struck a bargain.
So they started before they found their leader.
Yes.
There we go.
Yes, because Chrono Lord Deus, his name's Chrono Lord, implying he's basically the leader of the Infinites.
Oh yeah, Time Lord.
Before they have an aspect. So clearly, Chrono Lord Deus
he essentially dies to ensure Murozond happens.
Theoretically.
Theoretically.
We're not sure about that, but yes, this does appear to be it. The only person it could reasonably be is Chrono Lord Deus. It looks like how he sounds, and it looks like how he would act, and there's no other character. There are four infinite characters. There's Murozond. Well, okay, there's a bunch of other ones, but we kill the shit out of them all in dungeons, so it doesn't matter. But there's Eternus, Chrono Lord Deus, Morchi, and Murozond. And that's not Morchi. And it's not Eternus, because Eternus wouldn't be the leader. So it's Chrono Lord Deus, and he gets a little glasses adjusting, which immediately, as far as I've seen, people think he's the coolest shit ever, which I kind of agree with. But then he's made his deal with Iridikron back in the past or in the future, or who knows, at some point in time, whenever it happened. And then...
Yeah, we don't exactly know what, do we know what the deal is, to what end it is to? Or is it currently just under, there's a deal, it's mysterious? Or is this the terrible bargain that Iridikron made? No, this is current Iridikron.
No. Well, that could be any Iridikron.
Yes.
That could be any point in time in history.
Yeah, because we don't know whether this is the terrible bargain that Iridikron made that is referenced in the dialogue during the Scaleborn War.
Yeah. But
we know that as he appears in the dungeon, it is current Iridikron. Doing his plans.
Yes.
This Iridikron, we don't know.
Yeah, this appears. But
maybe we should assume that this is our Iridikron for the sake of Blizzard, just doing it for simplicity.
By our Iridikron, you mean our Iridikron as in timeline Iridikron?
Yes.
This isn't alternate timeline Iridikron. This is probably Iridikron back in the Scaleborn War days.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. Yes.
Yeah. It's not a different Iridikron.
Oh no.
There's only one Iridikron. Let's not get this convoluted. There's one Iridikron. There's one everybody, except Murozond possibly. That's
yeah. But if I went back in time to yesterday and talked to you, you'd still be here.
Yeah.
I don't really have much of an extra point. Right. Basically, point is, in this patch, Iridikron's trying to do some nasty stuff in the big time hole, and we don't really know, we know what happens in the Mega Dungeon, but we don't know what's going to happen in the encrypted plot.
Yeah, so we don't know how the Infinite story goes. We do know what Iridikron wanted. There is also something where I think the way this is argued that... No, maybe am I remembering this dialogue wrong? I remember this being like Iridikron made the deal. So I'm not sure. I assume this is the terrible bargain, because if he made two terrible bargains, then the storytellers will be morons. But yeah, I'm assuming this is like the big deal is he... And we kind of guessed this a while ago.
It's a great bargain.
Yeah.
We got ripped off last time.
Yeah, so
that's why I lost the Scaleborn War.
Yeah, which means he lost the Scaleborn War knowing that this was probably going to happen in the future. Which brings all of my thoughts about him because
Big smart boy.
because he's a tactician, because he's cold, nothing has bothered him since, he knows what's going to happen, etc., etc., etc. But yeah, so they've all been slapped down before. Iridikron's promised them something, but the infinite horizon is all but inevitable. And then jump scare again, Murozond, who I've seen people on a certain website say that it doesn't actually look that much like Murozond because a lot of details are different.
I think it's a cool update.
Sorry, it doesn't look like Nozdormu, is what I mean. Like Nozdormu's form. And that's when I say it's an evil villain transformation. He can be different. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's cool. Looks good. He looks good. And then more fucking amusing. And this is where I'm going to say something that I think it was Akaria said earlier. This cutscene or the cinematic was boring. And it's just like, here's more exposition. The future will be lost, and so will I. And they have this beautiful, wonderful scene. This excellent little, like, hand on shoulder, leaning in. I'm not giving up on you. It's very nice. It's wonderful. And that's in my face. I went, yeah, next. Just because I'm like, when is something going to happen? Please. Please. And I know the answer is after the dungeon.
Man, it's cheaper. It's cheaper to do dialogue than things.
Yeah.
Like, so many of our, I don't know.
It has me
It is what it is.
profoundly in the, why is everyone moping all the time? And obviously this makes sense for,
because
like,
that's what World of Warcraft is about now. It's about people moping at each other.
yeah.
That's all it's about.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was like pretty okay overall. Just because, like, this is a moment where it doesn't feel unearned, given, like, you know, we know this character's always been tumbling towards this fade.
Yeah. I was like, why is everyone moping? Where's the heroic stand? Where's the incredible action? Where's the Alex Strasser going, we will find a way to save you? Instead of the,
I'm not giving up on you.
I'm going to lean on your shoulder and be sad with you while you look extremely wrinkled now. Which is weird because you're a visage form, so clearly you can just look not wrecked. So you're making a choice to look tired. That's like, what I just did was nitpicking to the degree that if you ever do it, you should stop immediately and wonder where your life has gone.
Where's your life gone, Matt? And why is it like this?
In a good place where I caught myself nitpicking, going, that doesn't make sense.
There we go.
Yeah, because it's for a story. It's for a story, and he looks tired because he's tired in real life in the game. But yeah, it is definitely a bit boring to have cinematic after cinematic that's like this. And it's every build up is like this.
Remember 5.4?
Yeah.
Like, what we need,
I do.
Blizzard, we need something like the 5.4 cinematic that gets people excited to play the game.
Yeah.
That was a really good cinematic. You had your story bit, you had your big moments, you had your showdown, you had your showcase of the raid while Garrosh does his big growly speak. It's great.
It's like,
Take patch 5.2, also a really great patch trailer. Why can we not have this?
yeah, was it Fizzlework there said, why waste budget to render a scene this inconsequential out? And that's interesting because this is really good stuff. It's just, there's a way to, am I going to say the most insane thing of all time? I think I might say the most insane thing of all time.
You made the wrong thing good?
No, yes, but no, because this is actually good, right?
Oh,
but
yeah,
I'm going to say the most insane thing of all time, I think. This is like, should I? Yes. It's the video game equivalent of Blizzard saying, let them eat cake. Where everyone is starving for some goddamn bread. Everyone wants some action. Everyone wants something that feels cool and amazing and interesting and strong and powerful. And here's a hero doing hero things. There's a villain doing villain things. There's some actual like shit going down in a way that you're like marketing it. But instead they're like, why do you want action? Just have more of the thing you already have loads of that doesn't fit what you need. It's like, oh, you're really, really, really thirsty. Here's some fucking sand. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. But you know what I mean? It's like, it's
lost.
Yeah, I've lost the plot. My marbles are well and truly gone. But you know what I mean? When it's, we want X, and they go, here's some more Y. They're like, but I want X. It's like, sorry, all we have is Y.
Instead of just saying that, we had a bizarre analogy about bread and cake. It's all empty carbs anyway, so it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. But then it wouldn't. My brain went to let them eat cake, and I thought I had to say it because I thought it would be funny. But yeah, fundamentally, I actually think they just need to have something a bit different, because even my gut reaction was, that's really good, but I don't care. Which is really unfortunate because it's really good. It's just, I don't care. And that's the part where it's like, yeah.
Yeah, like Nozdormu.
It feels like a huge amount of wasted effort when I go, that's good, but I don't care.
It feels unearned because it's like the concept feels earned because we know that's where Nozdormu is going, but the actual thing itself doesn't really feel earned because Alexstrasza has been a fucking wet blanket of a character since she, I guess, did something when we were like level 62.
Yeah.
She did something then, and she's been really bored. She's like, but Unity! Unity!
She also kind of jobbed a bit when she did fight Razagath. You're like, cool.
Yeah, so Alexstrasza has been just a
Jobber, like.
pathetic waste of a character so far. Nozdormu's also been very passive. So it's like, if this was the thing that was happening after, like, the Dark Middle chapter in his expansion arc, sure. But it's just, like, there's not much storytelling in it. It's just like, there's the thing.
Yeah.
There's the story, but it doesn't feel like the complete emotional arc, I guess. Yeah, maybe that's some of why stuff doesn't seem to be resonating as much with people. Because I've noticed things don't seem to be resonating that much with people.
Yeah, that's because they're just focusing hyper on like the emotional bits without any actual massive things happening or anything big. It's all imagined stuff. It's all, here's your imagined interpersonal dramas, or here's some abstract stuff. Because that's the thing where all of this sounds really, really weird and like abstract. And I don't think abstract's a bad thing, because I fucking love me some anime, I love me some Kingdom Hearts, I love me some Final Fantasy. But where abstract is like king and people hate how like they use abstractions for things like personal emotions and feelings and stuff. But generally, like, this is just, hey, here's Nozdormu and he's worried about becoming Murozond. And everyone's just like, that's really hard to grasp. Like on a core, deep, like emotional, like empathetic level. Because like, oh, you're worried about becoming bad, just don't become bad. It's like, but it's set in stone. But it's not. The fuck are you on about? Like, you see it coming, just don't let it happen. And people understand that when it's a death. Because they go, okay, I have to die to, like, because I have to make this choice that's more important in the grand scheme of things. I have foreseen my own death and I must die that way. People get that. Because it does, like, boil back. It is just an abstraction of dying for a cause and knowing you're willing to make that sacrifice. But in this case, it's more, I'm going to be driven mad by a thing and it's going to be terrible. And everyone's like, we won't let that happen. And you're like, well, why is he so set? Why is he so hell-bent on it does happen when it fucking, like,
this needs to be paid off. Alexstrasza needs to do something to try to make sure it doesn't happen. Because if she's just like, it would be a shame if that happened. I won't let it happen, Nozdormu, my friend. And then the actual like patch happens and it does happen. And meanwhile, she's just been standing in Valdrakken, absolutely not backing anything she set up. Because that's the Alexstrasza of right now.
Yeah, it's the same with like, it's because Chromie obviously had that big grandstanding moment. And this is where you've just done what Chromie did, but worse. Because Chromie did that in the like the story quests in Thaldraszus, where Chromie stands on the box, so she's like at head height, and that was fucking brilliant. And just goes, I won't let that happen. And you can feel the determination how she said it. You can feel the, she's going to break the core tenet of what she agreed to as a bronze dragon to not let this happen. And everyone understands how like heavy that is, how important it is. It's really important that Chromie is going to do. We all like expected her to become Morchi, or to do that evil thing, or like Eternus to turn out to be Infinite Her, because she becomes the infinite version of herself to like ultimately stop Murozond or to stop Nozdormu from doing it. Or, as I imagined at some point, expecting him to like become Murozond but intentionally and accept becoming Murozond. And that way he doesn't lose who he is, but he has the same, like, he does have the infinite form. And then the merging of the dragonflights, in the sense of, well, the bronze or the one true timeline, infinite is possibility. Clearly both can coexist.
Yeah.
In the sense that the ultimate story of World of Warcraft is about unity and bringing things together, and light and void, like, coexisting. Ultimately, it'll be like a big thing in the way it's being led. So it's like, that's a whole thing of, for Chromie, that made sense. For Chromie, that is like, yeah, you're going to do this heroic action and it's going to matter to you and everyone around you. And it has like the narrative weight behind it. But this is just Alexstrasza going, I'm sad for you. Are you? That must take a lot of effort, love. You're sad. Fucking hell. What else is new? What else is new, love? You're sad, sweet, fantastic.
She just stands on top of Valdrakken and cries about shit. That's it. That's why she doesn't leave.
Yeah.
Alexstrasza is just... I know they're trying to be like, oh, she's so noble and proud. No. She's just spending all of her time crying her fucking eyes out. She's not in a good enough state to leave the top of Valdrakken.
Yeah, it's like, that's what it feels like. Even, and actually leaving Valdrakken's an interesting part as well. Because I thought of this...
As Queen of the Dragon Isles. Where are you?
Queen of this specific spot, the Dragon Isles, and fuck anywhere else. But I think it's interesting because they go to lengths, and this is where some of this might like be me because I'm a player, I'm a very specific player with a very specific set of goals and a very specific like set of things I care about. But I see this and I see this. Oh, look, she's sad about Nozdormu, something they've known for since he fucking first became an aspect because he saw this from the very first moment, and it's only ever like happening now. And you're like, cool, sweet. You've not done anything about it, you moron. But you know what you also haven't done anything about? You know the way you cried about your sister for ages? And we had loads of big emotional moments. Have you ever flown over to say hello now that she's back from the fucking dead? And the answer is no. Because you look at the 5 aspects together, not a fucking word for the passing of Ysera. Or, Marithra, you've taken your sister's mantle at long last. Wonderful. We have 2 new aspects. We have 3 new aspects with us. We've crowned all 3 of you. Instead, it was the Abyssian show for no fucking reason. And you're like, okay, cool. Well, when did those 2 get their like aspect titles and all the ceremony for them? Cool. Have you not gone to see your sister, who's back from the dead and looking weird now? Did you not bother to fucking leave your... Because you're a big ass dragon. It takes you 30 seconds to fly over there. On our tiny dragons, it's like 2 minutes. I'll just fly over and go, well, Sarah, fucking hell, I thought you were dead. It's like, yeah, actually, but you know, death doesn't mean anything anymore. Because we can just trade characters that people like and we don't like because we don't like fucking Malfurion. So we'll just throw him into the bin instead to have his Sarah back to do nothing, ostensibly.
The level of which their actions would make one think they hate Malfurion, and it's so funny that it keeps on happening.
Was there something else? Yeah, no, there's stuff in 10.1.5, you know, like the side quests where you go to the different futures and stuff.
Oh yeah.
There's a bit where like Malfurion just gets cucked. Like,
oh yeah. The cuck one.
Yeah, there's a bit where like Illidan's hanging out with Tyrande, and they're clearly together, and then you find Malfurion's fucking skull somewhere. You're like, what do you mean?
They find his skull.
Yeah, he's just dead. You're like, what the fuck? Like, Jesus Christ.
It is so, like, you read a good war, and it's all just like, and Malfurion's eyelids, or like, Malfurion's eye moved slightly to the left, and the very forests themselves shook and killed all the orcs. Like, they treat Malfurion like he is the strongest, coolest, most dangerous druid you could imagine in that book. And nowhere else has he been even a slither of cool.
It's so dire where like that. I feel like there's intentionality there, in the same way that people complained about the upcoming side quests and where you used to punch Rathion because he was being annoying, and then they're like, okay, well maybe people don't like punching Rathion because they like him, so let's pull that back. You're like, why do you have such a hate boner for Malfurion?
No, it's fine. Just replace it with a quest where you just fucking give Abyssian a handy under the table. Because it is the Abyssian and I don't know, the Abyssian feelings game. Yeah. And it's really bizarre because it's like we're not trying to say that no, Warcraft should be a GUG. The hitman with bat. Like, no, obviously you need emotionally intelligent stories and stuff. I think it's just, oh boy, it's the only thing they do.
Yeah, it's the...
Where's the Warcraft in Warcraft? How many moments of true spectacle have there been in this expansion?
Yes.
Or like, you know, real big turbo strong plot moments. Like, I know there's been some, but I don't really feel it's been... Yeah, it's definitely been like... It's that weird thing. Good quality, but really boring. And that's what the A-plot's been.
Yeah, it's like fundamentally a lack of balance.
Yeah, they need to
anything
show.
else.
They need to show shit. Like, so much of our stuff is just people being like, I have emotions for you. That's good because I have emotions for you as well.
Yeah, and I like
Some of that's okay.
It sounds like I really hate that stuff.
But then it gets to the point where it's like, just have some subtext in your vocal performances.
Exactly, that's one of the big things where you didn't need to do this whole cinema. And I bet everyone in the cinematic team like was really happy about this, and they got to go to so much effort to like make sure the scene here where Alex leans on Iridikron
they made the wrong thing good.
It's
the wrong thing to make, but it was really well made.
Yeah, and it's like the wrong lessons from seeing how the rest of the industry is moving. Because I think there's a lot of emphasis on this stuff in modern games. And I think it comes down to like maturing in the industry in some capacity, but like God of War, I think, is one of the best examples. Where God of War 2016 had some very, very, very good spectacle in it. You had the big dragon fight, it was really cool. You had the like opening boulder fight. Those were very, very strong, very like, oh holy shit, this is huge. But the part people remember a little bit more is like the first bit in the opening when I can't remember what happens, but his name Atreus, yeah, does like I think it's when he actually does kill the deer or something.
Yeah.
And Kratos like goes to put his hand on his back, but then like hesitates and draws it off. And then later on in the game he does it properly, and you're like, yeah, character development, let's go. It's like,
if that was done in World of Warcraft, it would just been, boy, I have a complicated set of feelings about you, but I'm working through them.
Yeah, whereas in this case a little bit more like, yeah, okay, here you've got some of that going. But you don't have also all of the bits where you're like punching Baldur across like half of fictional Norway.
Yeah, like that worked because there's a lot of stuff that worked because of like the fucking brutality and craziness of that Baldur fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like they didn't, Akaria puts it right, they didn't forget the spectacle, and it's in this they kind of are forgetting the spectacle a little bit, which is annoying because it is just, you need two halves to make a whole. And they've got one really good half and then a big empty half, and you're like, whoops, sorry about that. Which is like frustrating, but I have hopes that they understand this problem. But again, their pipeline's so far ahead that I'm worried if they'll be able to fix it. Yeah. Or if any part of 10.2 or 10.3 will be like, okay, here's the very big cool bit of fighting. Maybe there's something at the end of this where Murozond or Iridikron do something crazy. Maybe there's something absolutely profoundly epic with Galakron at some point. Or like they've got a huge finale with Iridikron happening. But it feels like they've kind of, if they are doing that, they're putting a little bit too much weight on the one moment as opposed to making sure there's lots of cool moments. It is just.
So we need storytelling, not just like things.
Yeah,
that's basically it.
Yeah, just stop moping for like 2 minutes and do something cool. That's literally all you need. But pipelines, etc., etc., etc. Will they be able to? And I'm sure like they know that they're not going to be like, no, there will be no action in Warcraft. They're clearly not doing that intentionally. It's just a matter of where they've put their focus, and they've put their focus single-handedly into doing this, which is a result of direct feedback of people saying, why are you not doing this? So it is a little bit of...
That's why I don't understand. Like, the main problem with Shadowlands wasn't that it was, like, edgy or anything. It's that it was really bad. Mm-hmm. Like, something can have edge and grit and roughness. It's got to be good.
Yeah, and
like,
I think
the problem there is that it was a bad story, badly told. That's the only thing to internalize.
Yeah, there's a whole lot to it where like even you need not edge per se, but you need a little bit of grit to make the hope actually have some sort of like meaning to it. And I think that's the thing where they just forget that quite massively, because even in Shadowlands, okay, there was Anduin's he's evil now that they kind of scuffed because it was like, hey, Anduin's evil now, but he had no like part in it, he had no agency in that whatsoever, so it doesn't actually matter really. So why does he have an arc about being evil when he wasn't actually evil by choice? Let's not think about that very much. Maybe there's something there, because obviously they had like the philosophical battle between Sylvanas and Anduin that didn't really end because the jailer fucked it up. But I think there's a little bit of that where it didn't really have the biggest, grandest stakes outside of the sigils. Oh no, the jailer's getting the sigils. And I think it's been a while since there's been that stuff. Legion, obviously completely understandable because big things happened. BFA, understandable enough because of how things were fighting back and forward. They just kind of blew it a little bit away with Teldrassil and how that kind of overshadowed everything else. It felt warlike in the middle because Azerite was like, oh, this is a big thing that's going to wreck everything, and it didn't really turn out to feel like it did that way. Can they even deliver a proper A plot line with the development schedule they have? I would say almost certainly. It's just about like getting the right balance of things done, because they have they've fixed all of the problems of like none of the shit mattering in Shadowlands, because now stuff does kind of have boundings and his emotional weight, and like characters are really important. But it is just they kind of need to deliver things a bit more pizzazz to, a bit more effort to, a bit more, not effort, that's the wrong way to put it. They did deliver a bit more of a actual punch, which is what they're really, really missing more than anything else.